no matter the location. From O-A-K-L-A to LV, I'm a Raider.
Raider Nation, what's going on? This Raiders Mailbag is presented by Manscaped. Head on over to manscaped.com/Raiders. 20% off and free shipping on all their awesome products. I recommend the Lawnmower 3.0 or the Perfect Package because if you're Nathan Peterman, I don't know, is a little bushy, get rid of it with the Lawnmower 3.0 and the Perfect Package. First question coming in is Jim May from Lincoln. Oh my God, that's a great name. Is Takk playing? Well, he was activated technically today, and the Raiders have 21 days to be able to figure out whether or not he is going to be playing. I talked about it a little bit on my news and rumors section, but he is eligible, and he is finally come off IR. But will he end up playing? That still remains to be seen. As a reminder, I am filming this on Tuesday. Vic Beasley's been activated to the 53-man roster, so I don't know if Takk's going to be ready to go, but I am expecting a little bit more usage out of a player like Vic Beasley. But I respect your question because I know everyone out there, we want to see a little bit more blitzing. We want to see a little bit more out of Takk. Well, a little bit more. We just want to see Takk, and we want to see more out of Vic Beasley. So go ahead, take a guess. How many sacks for the Raiders up against the Chargers this week? The last time these two teams played, I thought they did an okay job trying to get after Herbert. Herbert still looked good, throwing for over 300 yards and 2 touchdowns. But any game that the Raiders, believe it or not, have been able to get after the quarterback and shown some pressure, they've been great on defense. Phenomenal. Go back to the Broncos game. That's probably the best game they've played on defense. That's the type of effort I want to see here. Get after a young quarterback. So how many sacks? The live chat, I see 5, 3, 2. Shout out to my man Jeff Rogers going 3. That's going to be my magic number. 3 sacks this week. This next one's coming in from Raider Thanos, Super Chat. Much love. Who would you cut to create cap space, and who would you sign, trade for, or draft to make a playoff run in the AFC contenders next year? Honestly, y'all, I'm probably getting rid of Tyrell Williams. That's $11 million. Trent Brown, $14 million. We'll see if Richie Incognito's healthy. If not, that's $6.5 million. Gabe Jackson, he's getting up there in age as well. That could be $9.5 million. I'm going to hang on to Derek Carr. And in terms of trading for, signing, drafting, signing my 2 biggest guys that I want, Leonard Williams, Justin Simmons on the defensive side of the football. It's not really close. If you want to potentially look at a receiver, Allen Robinson's by far my top guy in free agency. Sure, I like Kenny Golladay and Chris Godwin a lot, but Allen Robinson would be an absolutely phenomenal pick. Staying away from the running backs and the draft, I haven't done too much draft homework, if I'm sitting here being honest with you. The linebacker from, from Tulsa, his name's escaping, Zaven Collins. He's really underrated in my opinion. Would love to be able to go out and get him. But it's draft, and some more draft. All right, let's go to Dick. What up, Dick? Players need to buy in on defense. What does Rod Marinelli bring that's different than what we've been doing? Inspiration, and sometimes you just need to change the scenery. A lot of the Raiders players love the fire that Marinelli brought. If you haven't seen his Tuesday press conference, please go check it out. He just sounds like a coach that knows exactly what he wants, knows exactly what he's expecting, and sounds extremely confident that he's going to be able to get it done. When I hear somebody like that talk, that would inspire me as a defensive player. Imagine a quarterback in the huddle with their tail between your legs. Nobody's going to be able to trust them. Nobody's going to think that they have any chance of getting a first down or scoring. When you see a guy like Rod Marinelli inspire you like that, that should make you want to play. Not just because Paul Gunther lost his job, but if some of y'all want to keep your jobs, you need to show up and start playing. Also, I guess back that as well, you should probably play a little bit more man coverage. Another super chat coming in from Sean. Much love, dude. How are you? I'm kind of excited to see what Rod Marinelli can do. Hope he can pull out this dub on Thursday. Love you, man. Hope you have a wonderful holiday. By the way, I kicked COVID. Yeah, I know you hit me up on IG, and again, this is one of my dudes. Shout out to Power Ranger, or Power Raider, I guess I should say. And, he's always hitting me up. He's always, getting in my comments. And, Sean, glad you're feeling better. And if you guys ever want to hit me up on IG, it's at Mitchell Renz 365. But I'm excited to see Rod Marinelli in this defense too. But there are a lot of players out that are probably going to be missing this upcoming game. So an important notice here. If you want to join me for my Thursday watch party, set a reminder, 8:10 p.m. Eastern Time, Raiders against the Chargers. If the game's not in your area, if you don't want to pay for cable, if you don't want to watch some, stream that's like 5 minutes behind, I got you covered. Play-by-play, fun tailgating experience, if you will. So go ahead and subscribe. And then my next live show, It's a little different on Tuesday, 1 p.m. Eastern Time, 10 a.m. Pacific. So if you're in Vegas, Cali, I'm going to ask you to wake up a little bit earlier, but it was the only way that I could actually make a video before the holidays. Hopefully, y'all understand. All right, this next one's coming in. It's another Super Chat from Peaches. Reminder, you want to get on the show, hashtag Raiders or Super Chat. If Wade Phillips becomes DC, would we keep Joyner and Littleton, and could we see them play at the level they played with the Rams? I think if you bring in Wade Phillips, you do end up keeping LaMarcus Joyner. No matter what, you're keeping Corey Littleton. Reminder, they restructured Littleton's contract, so he's only making $5 million this year, and then he's basically making $30 million over the next 2 seasons. You can't cut him because he decided to take a pay cut this year. That way that his contract is basically locked in for the next 2 years. So you're keeping him. But do I think that you could see a little bit of what the Rams used to use these 2 players for? Because LaMarcus Joyner is one of the best safeties in football when he played for Wade Phillips. And Littleton, in 2019, was one of the best coverage linebackers. So, yeah, I would love to be able to get those players because that's what the Raiders paid for. Let's go to Enrique, another Super Chat. We need to get Alzado in the Hall of Fame. There's a lot of players from the Raiders that deserve to be in the Hall of Fame, not just players, coaches as well. Definitely Cliff Branch. I wish he could have been able to get in before he passed away. There's definitely one guy there. Trying to think. Flores, 100%, but he's going to probably get in. And then Lyle as well. But those are the top names coming off my head right now. If there's other people that I need to add, hit me up, yell at me, because my mind's going a little bit blank right now. Super Chat coming in from JC. My brother, what are the chances we get Selah 49ers DC? 0% chance. There's no way Robert Selah leaves the 49ers, where their defense is a lot better than the Raiders, and they have a lot better younger pieces, honestly, than the Raiders do. Plus, their window to win a Super Bowl obviously is probably closer when fully healthy than the Raiders. And for Selah, he's not going to take a demotion, even if the Raiders were to pay him a lot of money. Everything I hear, everything that I see, I'm a believer that he's going to be the next head coach of the Detroit Lions, which I don't know why anybody would want to coach the Lions, but hey, no, I don't think that Robert Selah is going to ever be a defensive coordinator for the Raiders. I shouldn't say ever, at least anytime soon. So question, are you guys wearing deodorant? Why for yes and for no? Very important question, because I was with one of my friends, we'll say, yesterday, and they didn't have deodorant on. And I was like, dude, what is that smell? And he's like, I have deodorant on. I was like, wait a minute. You just said that you didn't. He's like, well, what you're smelling is my Famunda cheese. And if you don't know what Famunda cheese is, Google it. But are you wearing deodorant? Why for yes and for no? Seeing a lot of yeses from Seth Peaky. Okay, if you guys wear deodorant underneath your arms, why aren't you wearing it on your balls? Think about it. You sweat down there. I know I do. And if you're walking by, and you get a little bit of a draft and you smell something, it might be that Famunda cheese. So get rid of it with ball deodorant from Manscaped. How do you get hooked up? 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com/Raiders. You see the link below. I'll put it in the description. I'm also going to put it in the comments. Ball toner. Basically like cologne for your nuts. Simple as that. Your balls are going to thank you. Your girlfriend's going to thank you. Honestly, you're going to tap yourself on the back because you're going to be getting more. Just being honest with you. What comes in the perfect package? Ball toner, ball deodorant. I got Jimmy over here saying, like, I can contest. He's getting more because he's hooked up with Manscaped, the Lawnmower 3.0. Trying to help you guys out for the holiday season. Hopefully that it's lit, and hopefully the stocking's not the only thing that's going to be well hung this year. Manscaped.com/Raiders, 20% off and free shipping on the best male grooming products out there. If anybody has any questions about the products, you can always message me. When I tell you that I use them every week, I promise you that I do. Manscaped.com/Raiders. Few more questions in here. We got Bryce. Do we take Ruggs or take another receiver? So you mean like draft another receiver? We already took Ruggs. In terms of the top receivers out there, Jamar Chase is by far my number one guy from LSU. Probably would have been my number one receiver in last year's draft. That's how talented he was, even though he opted out. He's not going to fall to the Raiders. The other guys, again, I'm going to say Devonta Smith would be an option. Do you take another Alabama receiver, though? You guys can let me know. Jalen Waddle, those are probably my clear-cut 3 receivers, but no. And the reason is, even though Ruggs hasn't been all that great, the free agent wide receiver group is very, very special this year. Plus, offense isn't the issue. It's defense. You're not going to win football games when you're ranked bottom 30 in the NFL. Sorry. invest in the defense. You don't really need to invest in the offense. If you do want to invest in the offense, a lot of very talented free agent wide receivers. Ruiz and Sons, okay. Nassib keeps getting benched. Why is that? Gruden said flat out that Nassib hasn't been practicing well over the last 2 weeks, so it's probably as simple as this, and it doesn't surprise me whatsoever with a guy like John Gruden. Practice matters. So when you hear Allen Iverson practice, we talking about practice. Yeah, John Gruden flat out says if you don't practice well, you're not going to be playing well. My issue with that is over the last few weeks, Carl Nassib has probably been one of the better players in the actual game. So I care about games more than I care about practice, but practice matters to Gruden. But you know what else matters to me? You're paying a guy 3 years, $25 million, basically $8 million this year to sit on the bench. That ain't getting it done. So grade Carl Nassib this season, A, B, C, D, or F. When I look at his contract, it's probably a D. And if he would have been making like 1 year, $6 million like a Malik Collins, it might be a C, C plus grade. But when you think about how much money that they paid him for the little results that we've gotten, it's a blame on the organization, it's a blame on Gruden, it's a blame on Gunther, it's a blame on Mike Mayock, because it was a swing and a miss, and it's been a D. You might even be able to say it's been an F so far. This one's coming in from Caden the Plug. Who's your plug? Should we give Raekwon Mcmillan more playing time? We suck at stopping the run, and he's a run-stopping linebacker. The issue is he's been average against the run and, like, ungodly bad in coverage. He's one of the worst-rated coverage linebackers in the National Football League. I mean, you want to talk about a PFF grade? I was just looking at it. 27.4. Imagine getting a 27.4 on a test. That's how bad he has been in coverage. It's been a kind of a rough trade. I know some of y'all saw that Lynn Bowden Jr. this past week had 7 catches for 82 yards. That's because the Dolphins had a lot of injuries. But if Raekwon can't play, sure, you might be able to put him in certain run situations. But the only way for me, if it's like 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, 4th and goal, 3rd and goal, and there's like an inch to go, that's when I'm bringing Raekwon Mcmillan in at this point. Diago, can the Raiders hire a tackling coach, please? Well, tackling has definitely been an issue. The Raiders actually, in fact, were one of the better tackling teams in football before they hired Paul Gunther. Then they hired Paul Gunther in. Well, it's been bad. Hopefully Rod Marinelli can do a better job. And if you want me to do a better job, hit me up with some more Raiders news and rumors on Instagram. I'm always surfing the web, looking for the latest, looking for new topics. If you have a topic idea that you want to see on the show, let me know. I check Instagram by far more than I check Twitter, Facebook, my email. I check IG the most. But the offseason is coming up. It's going to be the time of the year where you got to come up with creation ideas, because I will give you guys a video every single day. That I promise you. So if you have an idea for the show, hit me up. Follow me on Instagram at Mitchell Renz 365. All right, so what's coming in from JP. Hire Ray Lewis to coach the defense. He's all about cohesiveness and playing as one. Exactly what we need. I don't really know if Ray Lewis is exactly what we need. Plus, does Ray Lewis want to coach? I don't think he does. I'm going to pass on Ray Lewis. Sorry, man. I think he's still more of an old-school mentality of how linebacker used to be played. Not so much coverage linebackers anymore, but I appreciate the idea. I'm going to respectfully pass on it. If you want my top 10 candidates to take over for Paul Gunther next offseason, here they are. I will already tell you, Raheem Morris, not in there. And if there's a coach right now that still has a job, I didn't put them on the list. So that's just something to keep in mind. I did put a few college coaches in there. Number 3 is kind of like my sleeper, the one that I would absolutely love to see maybe the most. But if you guys want to go check out my Paul Gunther replacements, it's on the channel. Subscribe, because if you would be subscribed, you probably would have already seen it. All right, let's go to here. Do we re-sign Derek Carr? Well, you don't have to re-sign him. He's already going to be, his contract's going to continue. And the real question is, do you cut him? I think you keep Carr for the next 2 years. His contract next year, $22.5 million. It's very reasonable for a quarterback of his caliber. The year after that, $19.5 million. The way that I'm keeping Carr, and honestly, I'm probably keeping him for the next 2 years. If the plan would be keep him, draft a quarterback, so that way Carr could teach him the John Gruden system, because I've seen that Carr's been able to get it down. And maybe you do a Alex Smith to Patrick Mahomes type of regression there. Or Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers. Something where they can learn behind a starter. Emmanuel Rico, what defensive player should we draft? So I know Tom just put out his 2020 NFL mock draft. I don't really want to spoil that for y'all, but I am on board for all the safeties, all the defensive tackles, all the edge rushers. I really haven't had much time to take a deep dive into a lot of the draft. I do more free agency stuff here at Chat Sports. We let all the draft stuff handled over to Tom, but if you want to check out our most recent mock draft, you can do it at youtube.com/chatsportstv. This one's coming in now from David Lopez. Cut Mariota. Mariota's another player that I think the Raiders decide to move on from. Save $9 million next year if you move on from him. He hasn't been getting work. I will say this. If the Raiders don't win this next week against the Chargers, they're done. Let's just be straight. It's time then to maybe look at what a guy like a Mariota could do to see whether or not you do try to keep him for next year. So that could be at least interesting. But as from what I've seen right now, you just take the loss on Mariota because, no, he ain't it.